Okay, hello, welcome back to another game of chess. Today we're playing e4 as per usual. My opponent responds with a Sicilian. We're going to go for a3 here, the Mengarini Sicilian, and they go a6. Okay, we'll go knight f3 and d4, very standard Sicilian ideas. They go for a Khan, maybe, with queen c7. Okay, I honestly have no idea what they're doing. I don't know what this is. They decide to pivot the knight out to g6, which is intriguing, but I feel like surely it ends up being tempo for h4, h5. I don't know. For now, we're going to go bishop e3, queen d2, get ready to castle queenside. I expect a pretty early b5 from my opponent, maybe bishop b7. Probably they play knight c6. They do go b5 straight away. Okay. I'll just go bishop e2, fairly non-committal move, finishing the development of the minor pieces. We do see queen c7. Oh, can I sack a knight? Knight takes, knight takes, knight takes. I'm hitting the queen. I'm hitting like this as well. I definitely can't, but it would be very, very fun if I could. Okay, we'll go for queen d2. Queen d2, maybe b4 takes, bishop takes, and I'm getting sliced on here. Don't know if I'm actually a fan of that. Let's not care. Let's just go queen d2. We've got a lot of developed pieces. Our opponent's a little lacking in development, but they do have some very well-positioned pawns. I mean, they're kind of locking up how my knights can move right now. I'm interested to see where they put the bishop. They might go b4 right now, in which case I'm going to have to take, else they're going to tear open my position. But if they do that, I do get an open a file, and I have not committed to castling either way yet. Okay, so they go bishop to e7, preparing probably to castle kingside. I still don't want to make a committal move, because if I do this, they're going to hit me with b4 probably, and then takes, and then they can run this pawn, and I'm getting sliced open here, and that is exactly where my king is. So, not the biggest fan of that. I might play a move like f4, which could be really interesting, because it's not as committal as h4, I don't think, because f4 I feel like we can still very reasonably castle kingside, and then maybe go f5 and try and open the f file for the rook here, and use that as a means to attack. If we go h4 straight away, it's definitely fun, but I maybe lose the ability to castle kingside. We're going to go for f4. Supported by the bishop and the queen as well. We are potentially threatening some f5. I think also f4 just has more potency than h4. Bishop comes here. Okay, but my idea was to just go e5. This was kind of, I forgot to mention it, but bishop e7. If bishop f6, I thought I could just go e5 here. I guess I then do lose a little of the ability to play f5. Okay, but I don't care. e5. e5, you have to move the bishop again. This looks stupid. I've got a good central claim, but this knight is horrible. Now what if I go h4? Then I go g4, then I go f5, and then we take, crash everything open, and leave my king in the center and lose. Doesn't sound like the best plan. Right, we're going h4. Of course we're going h4. You can actually take this. You can definitely take this pawn. Which I maybe... Oh dear, this might have been a huge mistake. I maybe should have gone g3 first. So they take with the knight. I kind of assumed... Generally, I'm always happy to lose my h-pawn because they're castled, and then that's an open h-file, which I still am kind of happy to do. If I go here, they just hit me with this. I might just castle queenside, honestly. What are you going to do? Take this? Rook here. Takes. What are you doing about all of this? You know what? We're doing it. We're going to just gambit this. We're gambiting two pawns, our h and g pawns. We want open files for the rooks. This is vaguely the plan. Because my opponent, they don't have a c pawn. Their b pawn is on b5 and their a pawn is on a6. They have like no pawns on these three squares, which is where you'd really like your pawns to be if you're going to castle queenside. Now, if they don't castle queenside, they've got two other options, castling kingside or not castling at all. And honestly, not castling at all looks like the best option for them at the moment. I think. I probably shouldn't give up this bishop. Wait, can I trap the knight? Where's the knight going if I do this? I just hold h4 twice. This is held by the queen. You have horrible, horrible piece activity. What are these doing in this little corner of the board? I guess the queen's a little more developed, but like, what is this? I've got all my minor pieces developed. I'm ready to go like knight e4, knight d6 maybe. Okay, now I'm confident. Now I'm confident because what are you doing about rook g1? Just trapping your knight. If you castle, you're going to get sourced on the h file and also on the g file. So the bishop comes in to protect the knight. That makes sense. But what about bishop f3? Bishop takes, knight takes. The knight is still trapped. I like this. Now you have to trade the bishops here, I think. Or maybe you don't actually. Because I mean, you're not threatening to take the knight because then bishop takes here. Although then rook g1, bishop moves, I take here. Like, that's probably strong for me. But I think I can make a better claim to this knight. And that is the fact that it cannot seemingly escape. There's an idea to go like, I don't know, they probably don't have time to do that. Because if takes and then knight takes, I'm just threatening rook g1 and then I will have no moves. I mean, my opponent can always sacrifice the knight for the f-pawn. So like, for instance, bishop takes, knight takes, they go, I don't know, knight c6, we play rook g1. And then they sack the knight for the f-pawn. But then after takes here, I've just got such an active position with pressure on all of the pawns on the king side from all my minor pieces. They go for b4 now. Yeah, this is probably a good move. This is probably a good move. But can I do this? Probably not. Because you take, I take, you go here, and I can't stop you promoting. Okay, knight here takes b3. Here. I can't let this happen, surely. But maybe. Maybe, just maybe. That would be so funny to just ignore this. Here. b3. I'm just going to get hit with this and everything's going to go wrong. Right, we're going to take. Bishop takes is inevitable. Okay. Now rook g1. This is the plan. Rook g1, attack the knight. You can trade the bishops if you want, and I feel like that's your best try with the black pieces. Because I think the idea is to try and divert my queen away from the defense of this pawn and then take it with the knight and escape. But I don't have to take with my queen, so we take here. Now the knight is hanging. So they're probably going to play... Oh, or they divert my queen away to then take this. Okay, so we just have like no pawns left, basically. Okay, so we just have no pawns. We've given up like all our pawns. Look, who needs pawns? You don't need pawns. Mikhail Tal showed everyone that. Right, we have great pieces. We have no pawns. This is a ridiculous position, right? I kind of like bishop d4 for vaguely unknown reasons. I mean, it hits the queen. If here I can block, there's no check because it holds a1. That feels kind of right. Or I just do something like taking on here. Why wouldn't I take on here and just threaten f7? Like, what are you actually going to do? Take on here, check, king d2. You take my rook for free. I go check, king here. I don't have mate because then I holds this. Oh my god, check, king here. There must be a win. There must be a win. Surely. Rook takes. I really want to sack this rook now. Rook takes here. Check. I'm fairly certain the engine's going to tell me bishop d4 is the best move. But rook takes here. Check. King d2. If you take my rook, I go check. King d8. Bishop b6. King c8. Okay, maybe not bishop b6. Maybe instead we go queen e7, king here, queen here, but then the knight blocks. I don't think there's a mate because this holds. Okay, we're going to start with bishop d4. Got pi on the clock. Awesome stuff. I think that's 2 videos in a row where I've accidentally done that. That's so cool. Okay, we hit the queen. We're defending all the checks. I can bring my bishop back in defense of the king. Then I take on g7. I think this makes a lot more sense. Queen holds the knight, queen holds the bishop, knight holds the bishop. Everything's nice and tied together. There's no more checks here. I hold e3 with my queen, and I hold a1 with my bishop. And my opponent has not moved any of these pieces. So yeah, we have no pawns, but who cares? Who cares, because we have development. This has to be a move, right? What am I hanging? There's no checks. This is a move. This is easily a move. Here, what are you going to do? Rook f8? What if I stack? Oh my god. Oh my. Hasta la vista. Bellissimo. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. مع السلامة. What else have I got? I got no more languages. There's definitely some I'm forgetting, but what a checkmate. What a game. No pawns, and my opponent just couldn't have moved their knight because of the mate. They didn't see that, but... Okay, well, let's go to the analysis. Okay, so here we are in the analysis. Now, if we scroll down here and have a look at the graph, yeah, I mean, it looks great. It looks absolutely great. And if we just ignore this, oh yeah, absolutely great. Just a constant, nice little increase in advantage until we checkmated our opponent. However, we are ignoring the gaping hole in the graph here where I completely blundered it back to drawing, which was apparently with bishop takes b4, and then after rook dg. So threatening the knight was a blunder. Right, we'll go through the game. Let me just look at the accuracy, by the way. 87% accuracy. The blunder is obviously this. But apart from that, that was the only real bad move of the game. Let's have a look at the game. So, scroll up. e4, c5, a3, and a6 is interesting. Let's just see who the hell plays a6. 887 out of 27,000 people. Okay, so no one plays this. What is a6? Not f3, e6. This makes more sense, actually. Sorry, I kind of forgot that this happened. They're going for like a Khan Sicilian. I believe if I hadn't played the Mengarini and had gone like this, it's a Khan variation, yeah. So it's very similar structurally, and I think in the Khan variation, one of the main ideas is to go queen c7, as we saw. So our opponent's probably used to going for that, but we had this a3, and I think that threw them off a little bit. They pivot their knight out, and if we look at the graph, at this point we've gained a somewhat reasonable advantage. I mean, we've got 0.9 here. The best moves are, yeah, b5. It wanted h4 straight away, but it likes f4 as well. I went bishop here, which was not as confrontational. Apparently I should have gone after this knight straight away, which I think I mentioned that it would be tempo for h4, h5. Little did I know how accurate that statement was. So yeah, h4 here would have been great, but queen d2, f4, I mean, this is all good, but now, apparently e5 is inaccurate. I could have just castled. I guess the bishop isn't on this diagonal, so b4 is not so much of a threat anymore. And if you go here at any point, I'll probably can then go a bit like there, and then, what? How is that a move? What? What? Okay, the engine's telling me I should have just fully given up a knight to put this knight in the center and then gone like this, because it completely slows down the development of this bishop. Everything's rubbish. If I can kick the knight, I can take this bishop here. Everything's clamped down. That is ridiculous. Okay, let's just analyze the actual game, because we could go about that for ages. So here, bishop goes back. Finally, h4 best move. Knight, wait, h4 best move. I kind of thought I'd blundered when I played it. But if knight takes, we castle. Knight takes here. And it likes bishop f2, which is what I played because I just trapped a knight. Bishop here, best. Takes. Horrible blunder. Why? Okay, the reason it was a blunder is because they had bishop takes, knight takes. Oh my god, queen a5. And they're threatening not checkmate, but check, forcing my knight back, and then they could take the queen with check. And so I have to go something like king d1. We could see check anyway. Here. They can pick this up, and then this is all just falling apart. And yeah, I can take a knight here, but I'm losing a knight here. And they're just 3 pawns up. And yes, I still have a lot of attacking ideas, but it's just definitely worse. So queen a5 there's crazy. They decided to sack the knight and draw my queen away to then take like this. But then, as I said, yeah, bishop d4. Oh my god, no way. Here. They take my rook. If I take here, it's a draw. But if I go queen f6, it's a complete win. You're joking. Oh my god, I hold all the checks. My opponent's pieces just can't move. If they move the knight, then I am threatening this mate in two, like we saw in the game. If they move the rook up here, for instance, I can just take it. Oh my, look how paralyzed my opponent's pieces are. So they want to go something like queen h5, and then I just go bishop c5. That is ridiculous. Okay, forgive me for not seeing that. If I had, I'd have probably just earned a GM title there and then. But bishop d4, best move, blocking here, and then going for rook takes. Now, yeah, this is just mate in two. After the king goes here, we go check. But the fact that my opponent just can't move any of their pieces, because, I mean, like, my bishop can come here. If they move their rook up, my bishop can come here, I think. And we just hit this. They can't castle. They can't move this rook because then I take here. They move the knight and they blunder a mate in two, which is what we saw. Oh my god. Absolutely paralyzing the position. Who needs pawns? What an interesting game. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That was a very, very interesting game. We had 2 pawns remaining in a middle game, which is intriguingly strange. Rook takes g7 did actually work, but then after check here and takes, I had to find the move queen f6. Or I could have gone for bishop c5 first, but queen f6 and just holding on to all the checks and still holding on to the knight. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. Nothing can move. What a line that would have been. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.